God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the I Don't Belong Here show, and I am your host, Samantha Beningo. I am a behavioral scientist, a career psychotherapist, a sixth-year PhD candidate in clinical psychology, a master's level psychologist and counselor. And today, we are taking a look at the location of the body of John O'Keefe. Now, I brought this up last night because this is something that came out in trial number 2, but I missed it. I don't know what I was doing. I was off somewhere else. And it's an example of how my brain, our brain, can get so used to seeing something that it stops seeing what's really in front of it. That stupid dash cam video, right, where Officer Seraph arrives on the scene, you know, the one where we see Karen running back and forth and Jen and Mike Lang talking for like 20 minutes, you know, that one.
Our first look at police dash cam as the first officer arrives at a Canton home early that snowy morning.
When I arrived, I saw Miss Read looked like she was giving CPR to him.
Well, as he is pulling up, and remember, it's like a 10-minute like opening to him arriving at 34 Fairview. Right when he gets to the house, there is a second where we see where John is located. And it is something that came up in trial 2, though I missed it in real time and just discovered it the other day, when Hank Brennan attempted to try to undermine Dr. Andrew Rentschler of ARCCA.
When you were giving your estimate 10 to 20 feet, Dr. Rentschler, did you ever see this photograph before or part of this video?
I'm sure I have.
Well, when you say you're sure you have, are you guessing or have you seen it or not seen it?
I'm sure I've seen this before, yes.
So you've seen this before?
Yes.
And when you look at this video, did you look at the street and look at the area where Mr. O'Keefe was?
Sure, yes.
Sure?
Yes.
20 feet, Dr. Rentschler?
The way I explained it to you, yes, sir. 10 to 20 feet.
Details matter, don't they?
They certainly do, yes, sir.
Take that down, please.
Now, the whole thing is kind of silly, and it was very desperate of Hank Brennan, of course, because when you look at where Carrie's car is and where they are exactly where Dr. Rentschler says they are, between 10 and 20 feet off the road. Right? If you took out your measuring tape and you were actually measuring, that's exactly where they are. But this is closer to what the Commonwealth wanted us to believe.
But how he died differs greatly according to the prosecution and defense.
The relationship's up.
Prosecutors say Read and O'Keefe were having problems. WCVB animation shows how prosecutors say Read and O'Keefe arrived in her Lexus SUV at that house in Canton for an after-hours party, but then she left without him. The next morning, O'Keefe's body was found lying in a snowbank near a fire hydrant in the front corner of the yard.
So the interesting thing about this, where John O'Keefe's body was a huge point of contention throughout the first trial. The person that the Commonwealth tried to use as an accident reconstructionist working for the Massachusetts State Police, yes, you know who I'm talking about, Trooper Paul, who got his information from 3 police officers who did not see the body of John O'Keefe that morning, had him at 7 feet off the roadway. Officer Seraph, who did see the body, estimated between 15 and 20 feet off the roadway. Regardless, Brian Tully of the Massachusetts State Police and the CERT team saw absolutely no need to search the front lawn at 34 Fairview. Now, there are a number of times when Adam Lally is deceitful throughout his the entirety of his first trial. a number of times, a number of ways. Like, for example, whenever he shows the house with all of this snow, like 30 feet of snow, to try to make it seem like that's how much snow would have been on the front lawn at 34 Fairview when this is all happening. And of course, the Commonwealth wanted to move John's body as far away from Brian Albert's window as they could get. So if everybody believed that John is by this fire hydrant, then that's better for the House defendants, right? It's better for their story that Karen Read is responsible for this, because all of us know there's no way that Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, and their dog Chloe are up in those windows, on the other side of those windows, and didn't hear what was going on the front lawn. Now, if that's the case, why in God's name didn't they come outside? And why in God's name didn't Jennifer McCabe go inside? Right? Hello? I think we all, at this point, realize that that is just utter and complete bullshit.
This is a scene.
But it doesn't stop them from continuing to try, does it?
To the side, in the side yard. Of 34 Fairview, yes.
On the lawn of 34 Fairview.
Yes.
Where first responders were responding, correct?
Yes.
And you say at night was screaming to the top of the lungs, is that right?
Yes, she was.
And Karen Roberts was screaming back at her?
Yes.
Shut up or shut the fuck up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in and show you what I found. Now watch carefully off to the left side of the screen. This is from when my sister and I visited Canton and 34 Fairview for perspective, so you can see where the fire hydrant is and where the flagpole is. Jennifer McCabe, during her direct testimony, shows Hank Brennan where they are. You'll see her green laser pointer, okay? This pile right here is John's body laid out with his head facing the driveway, and the three women all around him helping him, trying to help him. Here I am slowing down the dash cam footage so that you can get a better look at what we are seeing. Now here is a close-up shot of the same little pile in the corner, but it's very hard to make out what we are seeing. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain it to you here. And last night it was really tough because I didn't have a pointer. I couldn't draw on the screen, but I can here with Zoom, so I'm going to do that now. So I had just put up this video and immediately had to pull it because I was just fumbling through YouTube and this came up. I'm watching a Veriscope video and this is what I see. You almost can't make it up. Now, in all of these dash cam videos, it's hard to make out the bottom half of Jen, Carrie, and Karen. But because in the Veriscope video, he is looking at the firefighters, he just happened to capture the still image that shows us the outfits of all three of them. And because of that, I now have clarity about who is where in these images of the three women hovering over John. So I pulled the video so that I could recalibrate who is where. And actually, I think we, because of this photo, have a much better sense of where Karen is. Now, notice that Karen is wearing a gray and black two-tone North Face sweatshirt, fleece. That's important. Notice that Jen is wearing a blue, really long coat with no fur, and then those plaid bizarre pants, sleep pants. And then Carrie, we see, has the hood with the fur, and that's going to be what ultimately gives us a sense of who is where. So now we have the image of what these women are wearing in the top left corner of the screen. And I have a little drawing stick to help me to show you what I see in this picture. One thing to keep in mind as I'm showing you this, just take a look at the snow. You see how you can make out the snowflakes, but they're blurred, and they are clearly blurred. So this is a moving image, a still image, but it is showing everything that we're seeing in this image blurred. That's important because it's definitely skewing what we're seeing a bit. For example, I am now very certain that these are John O'Keefe's jeans. However, it's blurred, so this doesn't really look like a leg, and it looks like it's way too wide to be, one jean leg. But these are his legs, which we know from previous shots. Now, when we look above, we see that this is Jen McCabe's pants. This is not a fire hydrant, like many people had a hard time seeing this last night. This is Jen on her knees. Her jacket is kind of hiked up. This is her on her knees, leaning over John. Okay. And now we also have Carrie, and it kind of looks like she's hard to tell if she's kneeling all the way or if she is squatting. It's hard to tell because, again, the depth perception is off and the image is blurred. But this is definitely Carrie, and we know that because we can see her fur hood very prominently, right? It appears like these are her knees, and she's kneeling over him, whereas Jen is kind of leaning over his torso. And then it appears like this over here is actually Karen. And it looks like this person is in a hood also, but I don't think they are. It's hard to make out. But it definitely does look like this could be a two-toned fleece. Now, it also looks like this over here could be Karen leaning over John. Could be. Now, she's not in a hood, but she does have a two-toned fleece. This could be her little face right here. Could be. It's really hard to tell. Really hard to tell. Okay. So I think that gives you a pretty good kind of idea of what is happening in this photo. All three women are attempting to offer some type of aid, support, help in this image to the body of John O'Keefe. Okay, now this is a little different of an image. Not exactly the same, and they have repositioned a bit as well. So we're going to take a look here, and in this photo, we can clearly make out John O'Keefe's legs. It is not easy to see, but you can actually see his legs. You can see one foot with one shoe and one foot with one sock. All right, so now we've moved, and here are John O'Keefe's legs. This is his shoe. And this is the outline of his leg right here. You see that? This is his other foot right there with the sock, and that's his leg. So this is John on his back. Right here This is not a fire hydrant. Again, this is Jennifer McCabe's legs. Now, she is wearing a very long coat over baggy, oddly patterned, kind of plaidish, orangey pants. They're very baggy. They're actually bagging out, bulging over her boots. Clearly, nobody was dressed to play in the snow, to put it crudely. So what we're seeing here is like the thigh area. It appears like she's on her knees and leaning over John once again. Now, in my last effort at this, I thought I was looking at an outline of Jennifer McCabe because I thought I could see some kind of a hood. But now, because we know what they were wearing, we can match what they were wearing to what we're seeing. What we're actually seeing may be Karen Read standing up, because we can sort of make out hair and a two-toned fleece. Again, very tough to tell. But it's a little easier having a clear understanding of what they're wearing and then trying to match that up to the images that we are seeing. The most interesting thing to me about this image is that we actually do see John's legs, and now we get a pretty good idea of the positioning of his body, both where he was on the lawn, right in front of that flagpole, and this is the first time that I have heard or seen anything that indicated that he was far more horizontal to the street, with his head facing a little bit on a diagonal. And I've tried a few times to capture the angle, but it's very difficult to do in any kind of two-dimensional way because it's a very strange angle and it's a terrible image. So this is the best I got, the closest I could get. You could see that it's certainly, I would say he's not quite this far to the right, but when I tried to change it, it just didn't get any better. So I left it the way that it appears here. But you can see that he's just more parallel to the street than I would have ever believed or had guessed. He's on a slight angle, but he's also not laying vertical with his head towards the house, which is what I had imagined. He's much more horizontal than I had imagined he would be. How do we know that? Because look at the way these women are hunched over him, right? Carrie has her back to her vehicle and is literally, she's hovered over his body, which tells us that he was laying horizontal to the car, parallel to the car. That was different information than I had ever heard. That's why I am pretty confident this is John O'Keefe's bottom half pants. And I know it's a terrible image. In fact, I just saw this. I don't know why I'm able to see this now, but this I now believe is Karen Read, because we know that Jen McCabe has those weird, big, baggy, pink, plaid-y, patterned pants. And when you look at it now, the hair is what I was looking at as possibly the hood, and of course the little face is peeking out. Now, there are a lot of different avenues that we could go down looking at these images, but the one I want to address most obviously is Lucky Lorren. The reality is there is absolutely no world where he doesn't see John O'Keefe on the lawn if that is where the body was at 2:30 in the morning. No possible way.
That is the front of truck 30, Franken truck, and it's depicting the two mirrors on the right and left side of the fenders.
Okay.
Yes, that's the inside of the Franken truck looking out the windshield.
As if you were seated in the driver's seat?
Correct. This is depicting on the range that I would see seated in the front seat looking out the windshield. and depicting how much I will be able to see.
This is 211D. Could you explain this to the jury?
Again, I'm sitting in the front seat of the Franken truck, and I'm taking a picture out the right side of the windshield, again, depicting on how much I can see out it.
And to those of you that think he has some extra reason, motive to testify against the Alberts, you are insane.
In what town do you live, sir?
I live in Canton.
Where did you grow up?
In Canton.
How long have you lived in Canton?
All my life.
Did you attend Canton Public Schools?
Yes, I did.
Through which grade?
I graduated from Canton High School.
What year did you graduate?
1990.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
How many?
I have two brothers, one sister.
What are their names?
Christopher, Michelle, and Michael.
And where do you fit in the order?
I fit in between Michelle and Michael.
You're the second youngest.
Correct.
How old is your brother Michael?
Michael is 53.
What does he do for work?
He owns his own driving school, and he was a member of the select board.
And you say he owns his own driving school. In which town?
Canton.
And you mentioned that he's a member of the select board for which town?
Town of Canton.
And what is the select board in Canton?
It's the governing body for the town.
Having grown up in Canton, are you familiar with the Albert brothers?
Yes, I am.
Which ones?
All of them.
Which ones?
All of them.
Can you name them?
Brian, Chris, Brendan, Keith, Kevin, and Tim.
His brother is on the select board with Chris Albert. He has known these boys since he was a child.
What policies or protocols of the DPW are in force when vehicles are parked on the street or the road during a snow emergency?
There is no parking allowed. We are supposed to notify our supervisor when there is a vehicle in the way. At that point, the supervisor will make attempt to call the resident or have the police show up at the resident. And then if they can't get the car removed, the car gets towed.
Did you follow protocol that night?
I did not.
Why not?
Knowing the Albert family, knowing that there was a first responder, I gave them respect and opted not to follow procedures.
How did the presence of that Ford Edge parked on the side of the road affect your direction of travel?
I had to go around the vehicle.
How did you maneuver around it?
I had to maneuver to the left, go up, and then maneuver back right into my lane, and then continue up Fairview.
What, if anything, did you see on the ground in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
And how much of that front lawn are you able to see on 34 Fairview when you're coming back down from Chapman?
I can see everything. I can see right up to the front door.
What did you see on the front lawn of 34 Fairview on January 29th of 2022 when you're making the second pass by 34 Fairview in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
There is no way this guy wanted to get up on the stand and make the Alberts look like murderers. And here's what's very clear. This is me reminding you to like this video, like the video, comment, subscribe, like this video. With the truck that he was driving and his knowledge and awareness of this household, number one, if a body was there, he would have seen it. And number two, there was a Ford Edge parked in front of that flagpole at 3:30 in the morning.
And at about 3:30 in the morning, how far could you see in front of you, again, straight and diagonally in front of you?
As far as my eyes would let me see. As I make my right onto Fairview, I notice that there's a vehicle on the right-hand side roughly in the area of the flagpole in front of 34 Fairview.
Okay. And did you make note of what type of vehicle that was?
Yes.
What type of vehicle was that?
A Ford Edge. For as long as I can remember, they have never parked a vehicle in front of their house. They've always had enough ample parking in the driveway.
And something that I did not notice before is that Lucky actually sees the Ford Edge parked out there for 2 of his passes. So it's possible that they put John in the car and wait until whatever time in the middle of the night they want to wait until, and then move the body. Maybe they were aware of Lucky's route and were waiting for him to pass by again.
Now, you are now approaching 34 Fairview, and it's on your right or your left this time.
Again, it's on my left.
What, if anything, did you see in the road at that point?
Again, I saw the Ford Edge in the road.
Now it's on your left side?
Yes.
All right. Did it appear to be in the identical position as when you came up the street toward Chapman?
Yes.
How much of the area of the flagpole were you able to see this time as you're coming back down from Chapman?
It was obstructed, so I wasn't able to see as much as the first time, but I was still able to see the flagpole.
What did you see on the ground in the area of the flagpole at now 3:35, 3:40 in the morning?
I saw nothing.
All right, so now you've done your second up and down pass, correct?
Correct.
Where do you go?
I go back out on the Cedar Crest and I continue to do the rest of my route.
Now, at this point in time, did you do more of your route or spend more time away than you did between the first and second time?
I did more of my route staying away from Fairview.
And about how long did it take you before you came back to the area of Fairview Road?
About 3 hours.
Now it makes more sense why that Ford Edge was there. And aren't they lucky that Lucky didn't see them? I think that in all likelihood, he was taken through the garage into the driveway, and then they backed out of the driveway, pulled up to the side of the road. This way you only needed 2 people, right? And remember, Brian Albert, despite how horrible it looked, destroyed his cell phone right before an order was coming down to preserve that phone, which means something had to be so incriminating on that phone that he would rather, Alan Jackson be able to stand up in a courtroom and say exactly what I just said than have us look at that phone. And we don't know where all the Alberts were in the middle of the night. My guess is, knowing what I've learned about Brian Albert, is that there's very few people he would trust to help him move a dead body, a dead police officer. And they would all have the last name Albert. They would have to be siblings. It would have to be Chris and or Kevin. And just the fact that we know both Chris and Kevin are at the Minion meeting the next day around 9 a.m., I think that probably tells you what you need to know about who was there in the middle of the night. Colin would have been sent away because you don't want it to be any of the kids. Brian Albert Jr. was not getting dragged into moving a dead Boston police officer outside in front of their house. So it would have had to have been somebody who Brian Albert trusted, but also, knew was a big boy. Wasn't trying to protect in the same way. So there you have it. Just another day. What will tomorrow bring?
The intention of justice is to see that the guilty people are proven guilty and that the innocent are freed. Only we have a problem here.